YouTube, what is going on? It is Gino Bonino here. I want to welcome you guys once again to my channel. Real quick, I mentioned when I started getting my books back from CGC, I was going to do an unboxing video, and sure enough, about 3 hours ago, I had a horn beep while I was outside, and I went, and it was UPS truck, and they dropped this guy off, so I'm going to open it. Judging by the size of the box, I have a feeling it's just a few books or a couple books, so we'll wait and see. I'll know when you guys know I'm one of those crazy superstitious people where I don't want to mess with anything or look it up online or anything like that. I'll just pop it open and we'll take a look at it then. And we'll go from there. As far as the last few months, it has been a crazy one. It is the 26th of July. 2019, and Comic-Con in San Diego had just finished up last week, and there was some pretty interesting announcements coming from Marvel. Looks like they have a full slate. I'm very excited to hear that Fantastic Four has been confirmed to be in production. I'm really looking forward to that movie. I'm hoping Marvel does it justice. I know it can be Fantastic Four. Used just to be an incredible read, man. I mean, telling you, it used to be really good. And unfortunately, I think they just kind of lost. You know what really made Fantastic Four was the interpersonal relationships between the four characters. And when they added too much into it, like Franklin, and Franklin was so powerful and all that, it just seemed to, kind of, I don't know, it just seems like they kind of ran out of ideas. That's my general thing. And they tried taking everybody to the nth direction in the comics. And unfortunately, again, when you kind of lose sight of your base character or characterization, that's where it seems like you have problems a lot of times in comic books. And I mean, I get it. You can only stretch ideas so far, and pretty soon things get repeated over and over and over again. And they have to go different directions with characters, and I get that. But it just seems, again, that Fantastic Four has sort of lost its way. And again, I'm hoping that they, that they do a really good job with it. So we'll see. In regards to comic book news, a couple things. Number one, if you guys order from Midtown, I've noticed Midtown is kind of changing the way they do business a little bit. Good or bad, it seems like what they do is they are automating, I think, the process a little more. What I've noticed is a lot of the comics show up now upside down with the UPC code facing up. And the main reason I think that is so they can get a computer scan. And I'm sure what happens is the comics probably get run through some kind of a conveyor belt, and the little machine tells it what direction to go to fill orders. The problem with that I think, that I'm finding at least, is you do have to kind of check your books over for damage. I know I got a couple orders where the corners were dinged pretty good. It seems to be kind of a consistent problem people have. Now, I will say this about Midtown. I think that they do offer a service to people that are in smaller areas. For those of you that don't know, Midtown is a big mail order and brick and mortar store in New York, and you can order your books through them. People tend to have sort of this love-hate relationship with them. They either think they're great, or they think that they're, that they don't have good customer service, and they're not real handy when stuff does get damaged. But one thing I will say about them is it's a good way to be able to get signed books. I know they do get a lot of creators in. Creators sign stuff, and they usually get a few hundred to thousands of books signed beyond the stuff that they still sell in the store, and they offer that often to us mail order folks to be able to order, and it's nice. I see a lot of them on auctions, and for that reason, I think a lot of folks probably order from them. On the other hand, I think it's important to buy your stuff from your LCS too. I mean, I'm just saying, I think comic book stores, mom and pop shops are kind of the cornerstone of collecting. They have been for a long time, and I hate to see them all go away. So I think it's important that as collectors, we kind of, I guess, support both. I know in my case, I probably do 60% of my stuff from my comic book store, LCS, and 40% online. The main reason, again, is because if I know in advance what I want, it's nice to get that 15 or 20% discount that you can get. Now you can do the same thing, obviously, with comic book stores. If you get a pull list or a subscriber box or whatever, a lot of times they'll give you a discount. But you're also paying tax and whatnot, and I think again the shipping sort of you also pay shipping when you order from Midtown. So again, you've got to kind of weigh the pros and cons of both. But again, if nice thing is you can get, I know my comic book shop is such that it's not always big enough to get more of the obscure titles from like Scout Comics and companies like that. And typically Midtown, if you order in advance, you can get pretty much any book that's going to be published. They'll usually offer it, and you can get the more obscure titles. So again, that's kind of the pros and cons of both things. My point being, however, getting back to what I was originally going to say, I would check your orders when you get them from Midtown, if you do order from them, and check for damage. Again, what I've noticed is with automation, you tend to get stuff that, it gets dinged around and bounced around a little bit more. On the other hand, I think their new system knocks off about a week or so in their orders, so that's kind of a nice thing to get your books a little bit sooner. And that's not always the case. If you have books that have been delayed and whatnot, that sometimes will screw up the whole order for a few weeks as well. So you've got to kind of keep an eye on that. But anyway, as far as books go, I've bought a few things this week. From my LCS, Detective Comics 478, third Clayface. I picked this one up. Again, every so often, the nice thing about my LCS is they'll offer discounts on certain titles or certain boxes, and this happened to fall in that, so I picked it up. Batman is one of the titles in Detective Comics that I do really like from DC. The other one is Detective 608, I believe, or 609. Let me check that out. 608. First Anarchy. Again, pretty famous cover that you see quite often. And I also just got this one yesterday. This is Avengers 43. First Red Guardian, who apparently is going to make a little bit of a presence in the new Black Widow movie that's in production right now. I know they're kind of spoon-feeding us information about it, but again, a good book to have. Got it from LCS. Somebody brought in a collection, and this happened to hit the box, and I was there at the right time, so I decided to pick it up. Also, last thing I'm going to talk about in regards to books is this bad boy. I got this a week ago, and don't let the cover fool you. This is just some nasty, nasty stuff in here. This is as adult as an adult comic book gets. It shows stuff that would make you blush. So if you see this title, don't open it in front of your kids thinking that you got a Smurf or kind of book, even though it was advertised as an adult book. But I'm like, oh, how bad can it be with a cover like this? And it was pretty bad. So again, it's kind of an interesting read, to be honest with you. It's not a terrible book, but it just is definitely very graphic. So be careful if you do see that. Also, as far as eBay, I got a couple purchases. I kind of showed this one on Instagram. NYX number 3, excuse me. First, X-23 as a human being, not a test tube. And Josh Middleton art, I believe. I'm pretty sure. And again, just a cool cover, cool book. I kind of saw this one. This book was offered and came on the shelves during a time when I wasn't collecting. I was kind of taking a sabbatical from it. Had other stuff going on, and this was one of the books. This and Detective 880 were a couple books that I've seen people show, and I just fell in love with them and decided I wanted to get it. I was kind of waiting for this to drop in price, mainly because I was thinking, when X-23 was Logan came out, the book exploded. Then I was waiting for it to kind of drop in price, and that really hasn't happened. So I think this is one of those books kind of has legs, similar to the first Miles Morales book. And so I went ahead and got a good deal on it. One thing I would, I'm the kind of person where to me, a near mint book is a near mint book. I guess it's a little bit kind of an old school philosophy on it. I know everybody kind of does their thing their own way, and that's perfectly cool. But for me, this was kind of the level or the grade that I could afford. I didn't want to go, off the rails in price, so I got this guy. And again, it's a 9.4. It's a nice book. There's nothing really obviously wrong with it. I assume there's a spine tick or something someplace. I bet if I looked, I could find it. But again, in my the way I collect is a near mint book is a near mint book. I'm happy with it. From an investment standpoint, 9.8's probably the way to go. But again, I feel that eventually what's going to happen is 9.8s, 9.6s are going to get a little bit too pricey for people, and there's going to be people that are in it similar to me. And this is kind of the direction that 9.4 tends to be kind of my sweet spot, just because, again, that's often where the cutoff goes from where a book is super pricey to get a little bit more affordable. And again, it's still near mint, so what the hell. Obviously, you're not going to read this anyway and mess it up. So, again, if you want, you can always take out the digital or get a reader copy or something like that. But again, it's a very nice book. I'm really glad I got it. It'll definitely go in my display rack, and we'll go from there. Another couple books I got were these from an auction, I think a Thorough auction. I got this from 52 week, I believe, is it 7 and 11? If memory serves me right. Yep, 7 and 11. Kate Kane, this is her first appearance as a civilian, I believe, and this is her first in the Bat costume. And again, the main reason I got these is the series is coming out. And it's getting kind of mixed reviews, to be honest with you. I think people are a little bit concerned about the fact that they're promoting her more as a gay character than they're promoting her as a character. And when they do that, it tends to sort of rub some people the wrong way. We'll see. Again, I've heard mixed reports from people that have seen the preview. But then again, if you think about it, when Titans first came out, it was the same thing. People thought it was just awful because they said they didn't get the tone of Robin the right way, and he was, the whole F Batman stuff and whatnot. So, and to be honest, I really liked it. After I watched a few series, I thought it was interesting, and I liked the way it went. So, hopefully, Batwoman will be the same thing. We'll have to wait and see. But again, I got the good deal on those, so we just, I picked them up. In regards to my CGC, let's go ahead and open this puppy. Once again, I kind of have a feeling what's in here. If I'm guessing right, these are probably my expensive books, my big books, and it's always a crapshoot. I'll be happy with anything over sort of a very fine or better, which means anything in probably the neighborhood of a 7 and up, I'll be happy with. So we'll have to wait and see. And the first thing we have is indeed looks like 3 slabs here. And the first one, wow. I'm surprised at, to be honest with you. It is my giant size X-Men. Had this one. I bought this. I bought this from a newsstand in my small little town in Wisconsin. 7.5. I was very surprised. I thought this was going to be a 5 at the very best. But again, it ended up being higher than I expected. So I'm very happy with this. It's a great book to have just because it's the first appearance of the whole team. Chris Claremont's vision. Second appearance, if a memory serves me right, of Wolverine. He went basically from Hulk to this series. He became the new X-Men, if you will, team. And again, just a great book to have. Wow, cool. Very happy with that. Next one is pretty much par for the course, Hulk 181. This was my kind of, if you will, beater copy of the two. This one I knew was not going to grade high. It was going to be a mid-grade, and I expected anywhere from probably a 4 on. Again, it had couple little issues at a ding, and there was a place where I think there was some cover wear and tear. somewhere in here, and it had, you know, just generally a few, nothing that, you know, no tears, nothing like that. The coupon is intact, but again, this was my beater copy, 4.5, pretty much par for the course. It's about what I expected. So we have that, and then this one graded a little lower than I expected, but again, overall, I'm happy with it. This is my better of the two Hulk 181s. This one came in 7.5, which again is sort of a very fine condition. Nothing major wrong with the book. It does have a little ding on the corner, and it does have a few, you know, just a few things. I think what kind of downgraded this was there was a thumbprint somebody had left right about in this area. Hard to remove a thumbprint. It was one that, unfortunately, I think, even though I did try to remove it, I didn't go crazy on it. I didn't want to remove any of the, you know, gloss or anything like that. So I kind of think that was that downgraded it pretty significantly. But other than that, again, a nice solid Hulk 181. The back is nice. You know, again, no rips, no tears. Obviously, the coupon is still in this, so or the Marvel value stamp, I should say. So again, I'm happy with that. So that is my first stuff back that I showed dropping off. What has it been now? Maybe 3 weeks, 4 weeks since I went to Florida and dropped that off in person. I assume the other stuff is coming as well. It never really much rhyme or reason for it as far as what comes first. In the past, when I've dropped off both modern books and then, you know, a little bit pricier stuff, the modern stuff came first, and then this stuff came last, and now it seems like they just did it opposite. I have a feeling they wanted to do this probably because maybe they have less of this kind of stuff to grade and more modern books. Typically around convention time, that's the way it works, because people do get so many books from conventions and send them in. So that's that. And that is it, guys. That is my video for the day. Again, I'm happy with the grades. I really am. I would have liked to have a little bit better grade on that second 181, but, you know, again, I'm not going to, I've learned a long time ago not to, you know, whine about it. I did the best I could to clean that book up and get it nice. So we'll just go from there. And again, win some, you lose some. I mean, I thought for sure the giant size X-Men was going to be about a 5, and that came back a 7.5. So, you know, that graded much higher. The Hulk graded a little bit lower. Would I trade the two out? Probably. Yeah, I'd like to have a 9.0 Hulk, and I'd like to have you know, if a giant X was about a 6 or so, I'd be happier with that. But again, I've learned a long time ago, you know, not to freak out about stuff. You got to let it go where it is, and there's not much you can do about it. I'm perfectly happy with those books. They will be a staple of my collection for a long time, and we'll go from there. So thanks for watching, guys. Once again, Gino Bonino, I am out, and I will talk to you later. As more stuff comes, I will definitely shoot some more videos and show you what I got. So thanks for watching, guys. Bye for now. Happy hunting, and I will talk to you later. Gino Bonino, I am out. Bye for now.